Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
The Jasper County Sheriff's Office is reaching out to the public for answers after criminals made an illegal early morning withdrawal from an Airport Drive bank, destroying an ATM in the process. Details are coming up.
Moderna reports a big breakthrough in their COVID-19 vaccine booster shot. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
President Biden is in Louisiana today giving a sales pitch for his spending plans. I'm Madeline Rivera in Washington with more on why Republicans and some Democrats remain unconvinced.
Doug Heddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office is investigating an ATM break-in that happened earlier this morning at a Village of Airport Drive bank. KOAM's Mike Mahoney has the latest.
Customers of the community bank and trust that the Village of Airport Drive will be visiting the teller for the foreseeable future following an early morning ATM break-in.
Upon our arrival, the deputies noticed that the machine had been broken into. A short time later, we located the vehicle that was used in that. It was in the same area a few blocks away, unoccupied.
That vehicle is this Ford F-350, which was stolen from a nearby resident. Deputy Chief Derek Walrod says the owner was not aware the truck had been stolen when contacted about its recovery. Walrod also says the truck wasn't damaged when suspects hooked chains to its back and used the vehicle to rip the ATM's front off.
There was cash stolen. We don't know the exact amount. We're still investigating that. And we're still looking for any evidence we can find, and also asking for any assistance that may be out there from the public.
The deputy chief says his team is still in the process of determining how much cash was stolen and looking into possible connections to similar nearby crimes involving ATMs.
I believe there may have been one in Webb City within the last month and a half, and there's been some, I was told, around Greene County, Springfield area. So we're looking into that.
In the Village of Airport Drive, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The Deputy Chief Walrod says any information has the possibility to lead to a big break and hopes anyone with information comes forward. You can contact them by phone or leave them a tip on their tips webpage. There's a link to that in this article on KOAMNewsNow.com. Joplin police are searching for a woman suspected of leaving her disabled mother locked in a motel room. JPD says the manager of the Sunrise Inn on South Rangeline Road noticed one of the guest rooms had a padlock on the door. The manager became suspicious because the room was supposed to be vacant. He broke the lock, found a 61-year-old, a double amputee, in bed, who said her daughter had removed her from a nursing home in Miami, Oklahoma, but left the motel. The woman was taken to the hospital as police look for her daughter. Parsons, Kansas Police Department is investigating a shooting that happened at a home. Police say someone in the home was shot just before 9 last night. The victim, a 23-year-old man, was found with a gunshot wound to the chest. Authorities do not have a suspect in custody. A McDonald County, Missouri judge sentences a man accused of beating another man to death with a bat to 10 years in prison for first-degree assault. Clarence Anderson was originally charged with second-degree murder in the 2019 death of Joshua Collier. Another suspect in the case who was charged with hindering prosecution saw their charges dismissed. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now with first look at the forecast. It was warm today, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad day at all. We had plenty of sunshine as well. Temperatures upper 60s to near 70. Kind of chilly this morning at 47 degrees, but clear skies. Nothing is going on across the entire area. Really, the entire Central Plains behind this weak wave that rolled through late last night. Out to the west, look at the wind starting to switch toward the south. This is a warm front that is developing that is going to start to move in tomorrow, giving us chances for some showers and thunderstorms. Right now, we're sitting mainly into the mid-50s. Kind of chilly tonight. We'll drop back into lower 40s. Of course, we're going to break down our thunderstorm chances for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. More people in Missouri died in 2020 than were born, a rarity that was due in part to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all according to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. A provisional report from the department says the natural decrease was the first for a complete year in 110 years. A natural increase or decrease in population is determined by subtracting the number of deaths from the number of live births. State data show there were 4,555 more deaths than births in the Show Me State last year. Deaths in December rose 50% over December 2019 as the COVID-19 pandemic peaked in mortality. A big booster breakthrough coming through as the vaccine focus turns to younger Americans. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more from Atlanta.
As officials work to get more Americans vaccinated, a major concern has been COVID-19 strains, especially the fast-spreading variants first detected in South Africa and Brazil. On Thursday, Moderna releasing data from its latest trials showing its booster shot was effective against those strains, significantly increasing antibodies in people who had already been vaccinated.
The vaccines that induce antibodies, the ones we use in this country, are really quite effective.
And as vaccination rates climb, more schools are reopening for in-person learning, but at a slower pace than expected. A new survey shows 54% of public elementary and middle schools are fully reopened, less than a 10% increase since the start of the year. Parents who have sent their kids back full-time say it's already having a big impact.
Just in the time that they've been back over the last, I guess it's 2 months now, they've come so far, much further than we were on the computer, for sure.
The focus on younger Americans also extending to summer camps. The CDC expected to adjust its guidelines soon to reflect the progress made with vaccinations, allowing some kids to go without masks.
Kids are not spreading this. Kids are very unlikely to spread it. We've known that over the last few months. Counselors can get vaccinated.
Moderna's CEO also saying Thursday the booster shots could be required on an annual basis, similar to vaccinations for seasonal flu. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Dr. Anthony Fauci making new comments about the CDC's current guidance on summer camps. You heard about that in last story. The current guidelines. While the health expert mostly agreed with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's new suggestions for summer camps, he recently admitted in a TV interview they were, quote, a bit stringent. The CDC's guidelines call for masks to be worn at all times, indoors and outside, by everyone over the age of 2, regardless if you got the vaccine. It recommends an at least 3-foot distance between kids and at least 6 feet between staff and campers when they're eating. President Biden traveling to Louisiana today, a state that hasn't voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since 1996. The president is hoping he can convince Republicans there and across the country that his multi-trillion-dollar spending plans are needed. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Washington with more on the president's sales pitch and why some lawmakers say they're still not convinced.
We have failed to properly invest in infrastructure for half a century.
Speaking in front of a 70-year-old bridge considered 20 years past its intended lifespan, President Biden continued his push for investing in the nation's infrastructure. But his $2.3 trillion plan could be a tough sell, even here in Louisiana, a reliably Republican state where GOP lawmakers say the president's plan is too costly.
I'm sure the president's coming in to say, I'm the candy man, and I've got more free stuff for you. The problem is that there's nothing free. Anything free, somebody had to work for.
The president's plan to be funded by tax hikes on corporations and the wealthy includes $115 billion for bridges, highways, and roads, a necessity supporters say in a state ravaged by storms.
Our goal for these additional funds would include addressing longstanding projects that have been on the books for years.
Republicans are pushing for a nearly $600 billion alternative that they say targets those areas.
This is a proposal that could pass on a bipartisan basis.
Some moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin, a key vote, have also expressed concern over the amount of spending, but remain optimistic Republicans and Democrats can work together.
I have faith that democracy will survive, but it can only survive as the republic that we know here that we live in, is if there's a two-party system.
Next week, top Democratic and Republican leaders are expected to visit the White House and discuss what infrastructure is and what it isn't. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4-state heroes. Robert Graham served in the U.S. Air Force from 1991 to 2013. A native of Erie, Kansas, Graham was stationed over in Afghanistan, and we are proud to thank and salute Tech Sergeant Robert Graham. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later College Heights and Mount Vernon squaring off for a district title. Going to have highlights and post-game reaction in sports.
It turned out to be a pretty good Thursday for us today. We had partly to mostly sunny skies, especially during the afternoon. once we got a weak wave that rolled through last night. And it looks good right now. We have clear skies across the region. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But temps, pretty good. Just a smidge cooler than what we had yesterday when we made it near 70, but we still went into the upper 60s during the afternoon. We have dropped back, most of us mid to upper 50s, 54 in Carthage, 55 in Neosho, Nevada 55. Parsons a little bit warmer, warm spot at 63. Miami is checking in at 59 degrees, but clear skies, nothing is going on here. Really the entire Central Plains behind this wave that rolled through last night, we all look pretty good. However, if we go out to the west, here's our developing storm system. You can see this big trough out across the Pacific Northwest. It's really going to kind of hang out across the Rockies for about 4 or 5 days, so it's going to give us rain chances really starting tomorrow and then all the way through about the middle of next week. All right, clear skies tonight. Clouds will start to increase in the morning. Here's 6:30. You can see a few spotty showers on the Kansas and Oklahoma side. As we go through the morning hours, scattered showers, maybe even a few thunder showers, nothing strong, nothing severe. Kansas, Oklahoma, and then presses east. So here's 10:30, still scattered showers into early afternoon, and then I think most of these will be gone by late afternoon, and then our temperatures will rebound a bit. So best chances for rain, 10 a.m. until about 2 p.m. 43 to start, 58 by noon, high temp of 67. Tomorrow night, we get this warm front. It's kind of draped across the region. North of the front, we start to get some thunderstorms. These could be a little bit stronger, but still nothing too strong or severe. But scattered thunderstorms, mainly the northern half of the region, into Sunday morning, and then Saturday morning. Then most of Saturday is pretty good. The warm front lifts north. We get southerly winds. We start to warm up. In fact, I think most of us are going to be near 80 degrees by Saturday afternoon. There's a slight chance we're going to be a highly capped environment, but there's a slight chance a few thunderstorms could pop up in the late afternoon. I don't anticipate that happening. I think they're going to get going out across central Kansas, and then we'll have to see what can get in here late evening. I do think a big band will develop Saturday night and drive through. Those will most likely be severe overnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning. So we've got to watch that. Leftover showers Mother's Day morning, and then I think by Mother's Day afternoon, it's going to be looking pretty good. All right, so let's break this down. We do have at least a low severe threat Saturday evening, Saturday night, morning storms Sunday, and then kind of chilly with showers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I only think our severe threat is Saturday night, at least over the next week, and then kind of goes up again by next weekend. All right, 67 tomorrow, 80 Saturday, 70 on Sunday, but plenty of rain chances.
And so it begins, all that rain.
Yeah, it's been raining quite a bit actually for the past couple of months, it seems like.
All right, we'll see you a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, a new voting bill becomes law in Florida.
A renewed debate about election security and voting rights after a new law is passed in Florida. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with reaction from both Democrats and Republicans coming up.
The debate over voting rights and election security was back in the spotlight today as Florida's governor signed an elections bill into law. The critics of the bill say it's voter suppression and is not needed in the state, which was applauded, by the way, for its high voter turnout and rapid counting back in November. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
I'm actually going to sign it right here. It's going to take effect.
On live TV Thursday morning, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a new voting bill into law.
We're making sure we're enforcing voter ID. We're also banning ballot harvesting. We're not going to let political operatives go and get satchels of votes and dump them in some drop box.
Democrats say Florida's law is more voter suppression by Republican state leaders.
Oh, I disagree with that. What it does is actually makes our process cleaner.
Florida's Democratic Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services slammed the bill, tweeting, quote, "The GOP is going full Jim Crow because they can't win elections based on their policies." A lawsuit was immediately filed, saying the law makes it harder for elderly, minority, and new voters, and is, quote, "a bill that purports to solve problems that do not exist, caters to a dangerous lie about the 2020 election that threatens our most basic democratic values." Florida is the latest state to enact new laws after the 2020 election. Georgia has already faced boycotts for their law passed in March. And in Texas, they're facing pushback from dozens of companies over their proposed election legislation.
These CEOs of these national companies are the woke culture. We make it easy to vote in Texas.
Their answer is to hang on to power by stopping people from voting.
Critics of the bill point to the fact that Florida had record high turnout in 2020 and that former President Trump won the state with no accusations of fraud. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Just ahead, getting a new best friend.
The pandemic has turned many Americans into first-time pet owners. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer, and I have the tips and tricks you need to know to help your pet post-lockdown. That's coming up.
A growing number of people have turned into pet parents over the course of the pandemic, but as the vaccine rollout is helping the country reopen, experts say there's some things you should be doing to help maintain a strong bond with your new furry friend now that you may be out of the house more often. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has more.
The pandemic put many things on pause, but one thing it's not slowing down is pet adoptions, with the number of animals rescued from shelters up by roughly 40% in 2020.
The first week alone, last March, we saw more than 700 foster applications.
As the nation first entered lockdown, many people sought out a furry companion to help them with COVID-related anxiety and cope with loneliness.
We've arguably weathered one of the most stressful periods in our lives together, and so that's a really strong bond that's created.
But now that the country is starting to open back up, more people and their pets are coming out of isolation, and animal experts say just like pets were there for us during quarantine, we need to be there for them. Adding many dogs and cats will now need to be reintroduced to social situations.
If you want to get an animal adjusted to something they're unfamiliar with, you do it gradually.
And separation anxiety is also a growing problem for some pets.
When we started working from home and spending more time at home, Coco got very attached and became quite the Velcro dog.
To help combat separation anxiety, animal trainers recommend leaving your pet for 15-minute intervals at a time and then gradually building up their tolerance to be left unsupervised. It also helps to have plenty of treats.
We have some treats that have lavender in them, they have melatonin in them, that might actually get your dog a little more relaxed.
And it may seem like common sense, but experts say you should give your pet plenty of toys so they can be occupied while you're away. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, all of you wine connoisseurs out there have a chance to buy some wine aged in outer space for a hefty price. Auction House is giving you the chance to buy a bottle of out-of-this-world wine. The private company Space Cargo Unlimited sent 12 bottles of French wine to the International Space Station, where they spent more than a year. The bottle of wine originally sold for $10,000. Yeah, I know, Peyton, my producer, I'm not saying that wine name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that wine name. The bottle of wine was originally sold for $10,000, but Christie's estimates it will now go for about $1 million. The space wine comes with a second bottle of the same vintage aged on Earth in a cellar. That way, if the buyer decides to crack open the space wine, they can compare the two. I'm not a wine guy, I'm sorry. But it'll be interesting to compare the difference. I'm not forking over money for this. I'll just read about the difference of taste. Let me tell you. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. For the first time since this pandemic began, the first Thursday Art Walk back in Joplin. Plus, Joplin residents getting a chance to learn about efforts to get Memorial Hall on the National Register of Historical Places. Another local event is moving from online to in-person in Joplin. It's been more than a year since the first Thursday Art Walk happened in downtown Joplin. That changed tonight. KOAM Zach Dosh has more.
After 9 virtuals, I am glad to say we are not doing a virtual.
Like so many other local events, the first Thursday Art Walk hasn't happened in person for more than a year. The last time was back in 2019. So for organizer Linda Teeter, it's been a long time coming.
Well, it's exciting because I haven't even been able to see the artists in person. So now I'm actually seeing my friends again.
6 venues are included this month and next, scaled down from the original 9 or 10. A change that was very intentional.
We have no way of social distancing in an art walk. And so I want to protect my artists and my musicians, and I want to protect those that participate in the art walk.
One of those venues is the Spiva Art Gallery, where they're more than ready to see some familiar faces.
I can't tell you just the feeling of being back here.
The gallery was closed for a while last year and then came back with limited hours, making it hard to keep people excited about art. So they're optimistic, seeing we're to a point where events can happen safely again, even if it's with some changes.
We just want people to come in and we want to share art with people. We want to look at people's art. We want to teach people art. And, we just want to share those feelings of community with everybody.
And Steve Williams at Club 609, which is also playing host during the event, feels the same.
We hear somebody almost every day say, so glad to be out again and see people, and it feels good. It just makes our community feel better about themselves, I think.
This is for the artists, it's for the musicians, and it's for the community at large.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
This was the 14th year for the first Thursday Art Walk. Joplin residents got a chance to learn about the nomination process for the National Register of Historical Places. City is trying to get Memorial Hall on the register, and this meeting allowed residents to hear about the findings of research into the building and also ask some questions.
When I was talking to community members, they remember, hey, yeah, I remember going to seeing this concert. I was seeing an elephant in the circus for the first time. Those types of things that, so it's a really, it's a building that's kind of central to Joplin's culture and entertainment.
Memorial Hall, a beautiful building, was built back in 1925 as a war veteran memorial. Pandemic has been hard on a lot of people, especially those in a hospice who weren't able to see their families often. Rules have opened up a little bit. Many of us can remember when the rules were so stringent, though. Back then, volunteers spent a lot of time with them, and that meant a lot. Today, Compassus Hospice in Joplin said thank you to those volunteers with a big sign, also a cookout.
Just being a friend to the ones who are lonely. We have a volunteer that is homebound, but she can call the patients who live alone and are very lonesome, and the patients just welcome those calls every week, and they build real friendships and rapport with each other.
Compassus Hospice is located at 2216 East 32nd Street in Joplin. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and the Washington Family Hope Center in Joplin is offering a classic gift idea, flowers. The center is hosting Blooms of Hope by selling flowers and other plants in a variety of classic or decorative pots. Now, all proceeds will go toward the center's goal of benefiting moms and kids in need.
If you're looking for an extra sweet deal, we are offering specially commissioned coffee mugs made by Brent Skinner of Skinner Pottery and Diamond. They're microwave dishwasher safe, and we're also offering some fudge, especially made by our moms here at this Washington Family Hope Center. We've got chocolate and peanut butter. So we have a lot of different things to offer for people, and we also have beautiful cards that the moms have made.
Sale continues tomorrow at the Washington Family Hope Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on Saturday from 10 a.m. until they sell out. Area middle and high schoolers came to Pittsburgh for a drone competition. For the past several weeks, teams from Fredonia Middle School, Frontenac High School, and Fort Scott Middle School have been using drones and building courses for the drones. Today they built arenas to fly the drones through.
Being in control of such a cool machine, flying it around, making it do whatever you want. You can do all kinds of cool tricks with them. The extents you can go to with them are pretty cool.
The drones used by the schools were on loan from Pittsco, which also donated supplies for practice arenas. Barry Morphew, the husband of a Colorado mom who has not been seen in nearly a year, goes before a judge for the first time. This one day after he was charged in connection with her death, even though she remains missing. But without a body, so much of this case remains a mystery. Fox News correspondent Alicia Acuna has this story.
Barry Morphew, the husband of missing Colorado mom Suzanne Morphew, made his first court appearance Thursday, one day after he was arrested and charged in connection with her death, even though she remains missing. 53-year-old Morphew was arrested at his home Wednesday and charged on suspicion of first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. The arrest affidavit in the case has been sealed, with no other details being released because of the ongoing investigation.
There's more work to be done. However, this is an important and incredibly crucial step.
Suzanne Morphew has not been seen in almost a year. The mom of 2 daughters reportedly went on a bike ride alone last Mother's Day, May 10, 2020, and never returned. Despite hundreds of tips and extensive statewide searches, her bike was found near their home, but she still hasn't been found.
Our belief is Suzanne is not alive at this time.
Barry Morphew told police he was working on a landscaping job in Denver when his wife disappeared, but questions about his involvement began to surface, including a report that he left his Denver hotel room smelling of bleach with wet towels all around.
Now that I think there's a little bit of answers, there's still a lot of questions of what happened to her. Where is she? Why? Why would you do this to someone that you've been with for so many years?
Morphew is being held without bail. He's expected back in court on May 27th. In Denver, Alicia Acuna, Fox News.
A bit later, a new high in India.
India breaks another record as its second coronavirus wave worsens. I'm Trey Yingst in Jerusalem. I've got the details coming up.
Well, we had a pretty good day for us today, and we had partly to mostly sunny skies by the time we went into the afternoon hours, and that was interesting.
Yeah, what happens to it?
Well, it's a live camera.
Yeah.
But it takes images.
Yeah.
So we think that was a spider, but he left.
I did not like it.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping to take a look at him, but oh well. So, tower cam looks good. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Yeah, anytime we get bugs on a camera lens, they look like they're about the size of New York City. So it always gets a little bit interesting. Temperatures pretty good for us over the past couple days. Near 70 yesterday, near 70 again today as we went into the upper 60s. Most of us now sitting into the mid 50s. Kind of chilly tonight. We're going to go down to about 43, but we have clear skies, so nothing is going on here. Really nothing across the Central Plains. But we do have our next storm system. It's out across the Pacific Northwest, and some energy will jump over the Rockies tomorrow and start affecting us as we head into the next couple days. Tonight's going to be fine, but we'll start to get some clouds by morning. You can see a few spotty showers. There's a warm front that's slowly going to advance in, so any showers are along and north of the warm front. There could be a thunder shower in there, nothing strong or severe. This is going to be mainly late morning, early afternoon, and then they're gone. We'll get a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon. Temperatures close to what we had today. Not quite as nice, but not bad. 58 by noon, high temp is 67. All right, tomorrow night, more thunderstorms. Here's the warm front, kind of right through the heart of the region. So just north of the front, we'll get some scattered thunderstorms. These could be a little bit stronger tomorrow night into Saturday morning. I don't think severe, but we'll keep our eyes on that. And then we really warm up as we go into the daytime hours on Saturday. I think most of us are going to push 80 degrees by the afternoon. Then we got to watch Saturday late afternoon into the evening. We have a cap or an inversion on top of us, so it keeps any thunderstorms from forming, but they should start to get going out across central Kansas. And a couple of these guys may get in here 7, 8, 9 o'clock during the evening. Those could be severe, and then a big complex will develop and then take a dive right into the area late evening into the overnight hours. Those will most likely be severe. These types of storms produce very gusty winds and large hail. So we do have at least a low severe threat Saturday night, so we need to keep our eyes on that. Some morning showers on Mother's Day, some morning thunderstorms. So we'll watch that low severe threat. Showers continue Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But we don't have a severe threat, so we just have this one severe threat coming up this weekend, and then it'll ramp up here in about a week. 67 for us tomorrow, 80 on Saturday, 70 Mother's Day, but you can see plenty of chances for rain.
That was a shy spider.
He was. I mean, as soon as he gets his moment of fame, he runs away.
Screws it up. Doug, thank you. All right, coming up in sports, the Baxter Springs baseball team aiming to lock up the outright CNC League title. Plus, Frontenac and Columbus squaring off for first place in their regional standings. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Columbus Titans host the Frontenac Raiders tonight in one of the biggest softball matchups of the season in Southeast Kansas. Now, the two teams are currently number 1 and number 2 in the regional standings coming into the night. The Titans are 15-3 overall. Frontenac 1 game back at 14-4. In game 1 tonight, ball gets away here. Annie Lee scores. Frontenac gets 2 in the top of the first. Now it's 2-2 in the second. Bases loaded for the Titans. Heather Arnett starts it. Lee turns the double play to get out of the jam, and check it out. Coach Rooms clearly pumped up. Raiders up 3-2 in the fourth until Evie Parsons gets the bunt down. Run scores. That makes it 3-3. Frontenac gets the lead to 7-3, but in the seventh, Parsons again dropping it into right. Columbus would pull within 2, but Mia Brown gets the ground out to end the ball game. Frontenac wins game 1 7-5. Well, they're tied in the standings after that, so it comes down to this one. Frontenac wins at 6-3, and with that win, the Raiders claim both the CNC League Championship and the #1 seed in the regional tournament. Well, tonight is championship night at the Class II District 6 softball tournament in Mount Vernon. The hometown Mountaineers have a chance to claim a district title in front of their home crowd, facing College Heights this evening. The winner of this one moves on to play in the Class II state quarterfinals next Thursday. In the third, with 2 outs, Lane Jackson, base hit out to left center. Sarah Painter and Chloe Williamson both score. College Heights goes up 2-1. The bottom half, Josie McChesney gets a piece of it, enough for Allie Burke to score. Game tied. Then Avery Good pulls it left. Runner scores. Cougars back on top. Here's Jaylene Johnson over the fence with a runner on. That's a 2-run jack. Cougars score 4 in the sixth to extend the lead. Mount Vernon pulls within a few, but College Heights wins at 9-6 to claim the district title.
From a couple years ago, only winning 3 games to, to all the hard work they've put in, and to come away, with the best record in school history, and now conference champs and district champs. They're really doing a phenomenal job this season, and if they keep playing the way they're playing, the sky's the limit.
Other district championships tonight. Diamond claims the Class II District 5 title with a 9-8 win over East Newton. It'll be Diamond and College Heights in the state quarterfinals next Thursday. Class 1 District 6, Hume wins the district title, beating Jasper 11-4. The Baxter Springs Lions are CNC baseball champs. The Lions needed 1 win tonight against Galena to claim the outright league title. They ended up getting 2, sweeping a doubleheader from the Bulldogs. Now, with those wins tonight, Baxter Springs is 10-2 in the CNC and 16-3 overall in their first season under that guy right there, head coach Cord Baldwin.
I don't think we've actually won conference outright in the 9 years that I've been here, 8 with Coach Mercer and now with me. It's the first year we won it outright. It's the first year as head coach. I'm just kind of riding a wave of emotions. This team keeps us our highs and lows, but they always bounce back. That strong senior leadership of those 9 guys really sets the tone for our team. They want to win, they want to be the best, and when they don't get any recognition for it, they really want to keep fighting.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
India broke its own record for daily coronavirus infections on Thursday, the country's second wave, prompting more countries to support waiving vaccine patients. Fox News correspondent Trey Yanks has more.
India's COVID crisis marked another grim milestone on Thursday. More than 412,000 new infections were recorded, pushing the country's case total past 21 million. It's the second time India has topped 400,000 daily infections since the second wave began in April. One hospital in India's capital says it's already at 140% capacity.
There is patients sitting on chairs, as you must have seen, who are getting oxygen. It is not the way that normally an ER or ICU functions.
India's government says demand for oxygen has jumped over the last 2 weeks. Most hospitals don't generate oxygen directly for patients and instead rely on it to be transported in tankers and cylinders. But officials say those supplies are running short and they're struggling to transport oxygen to other parts of the country.
The oxygen provided to us by the suppliers can't meet our demand at all. We can only do our best to let those patients who are in urgent need to use liquid oxygen.
India's vaccine manufacturing has taken a hit also during the second wave. The crisis is putting pressure on the U.S. and other countries to waive patents on COVID-19 vaccines to allow low-income countries to produce their own. On Wednesday, the Biden administration announced its support for lifting the restrictions.
We take intellectual property incredibly seriously. And we also, though, are in the midst of a historic global pandemic, which requires a range of creative solutions.
Critics of the waiver say it could weaken an already strained supply chain. In Jerusalem, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Gotta check out the movies now available to watch at home when we come back. Plenty of new action, drama, and comedy, both in theaters and available to view at home this week. We have a look at the latest new releases. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
You ready?
Ready. Jason Statham re-teams with Guy Ritchie for Wrath of Man. So what unleashes the wrath for Statham in this one?
These guys worked together early on in Guy Ritchie's career on films like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Here, Statham plays a cold and mysterious guy who takes a job driving armored cars as a way to find the people responsible for killing someone very close to him.
Want to have some laughs? Also in theaters here today with Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish.
This is Billy Crystal's first movie that he's directed in several years now. He plays a veteran comedy writer who's going through a tough time in his life, and then he meets a New York singer played by Tiffany Haddish, and they form like an unlikely duo, but a hilarious friendship. It's also a touching friendship.
I'm going to find the Waterman. Plus the family adventure, The Waterman, David Oyelowo's directorial debut.
It's currently 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's about a boy who sets out on a quest to save his ill mother, who's played by Rosario Dawson, while searching for a mythic figure named the Waterman who possesses the secret to immortality.
What do you see when you look at me?
Netflix adds Monster.
Kelvin Harrison Jr. in this one plays a 17-year-old. He's an honor student. He has his whole life ahead of him. And then all of a sudden things come crashing down when he is charged for felony murder. How his family and his friends and everyone is trying to help him go through and get out of this situation that he is in.
We're about to go stratospheric.
And there's Gia Coppola's Mainstream with Andrew Garfield and Maya Hawke.
Who am I?
And Mainstream is new to view in many ways, in theaters, digital, and video on demand. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a retirement party for a California therapy dog named Tassie. Enjoy the time off, Tassie. Be safe, everyone. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.